Full Beyond the Gates spoilers. Everyone is talking about Naomi's emotional confession this week on Beyond the Gates, but the real shock isn't that she finally admits the truth. The real bombshell is how long that truth has been hidden. According to the show's established timeline, Naomi learned she carried the Brca gene mutation back in January 2026. That means she has spent nearly 6 months keeping one of the biggest medical secrets of her life from Jacob and from nearly everyone else in her family. Suddenly, what looked like a difficult medical storyline is beginning to look like one of the biggest betrayals the series has ever explored. The timeline changes everything. This isn't a secret Naomi kept for a few days while processing devastating news. It wasn't a difficult weekend or a brief period of uncertainty. Month after month passed while Jacob believed everything in their marriage was completely normal. Every family dinner, every conversation about their future, every discussion about health and trust happened while Naomi already knew the truth. The diagnosis itself was never the lie. The silence that followed became the real story. What makes this revelation even more explosive is that Jacob isn't discovering a Brca mutation. He's discovering 6 months of deception. Those are two completely different emotional wounds. A husband can stand beside his wife through a frightening diagnosis. That is exactly what marriage is supposed to be about. But learning that your spouse deliberately carried such a life-changing secret alone for half a year raises far more painful questions. Why didn't she trust him? At what point did she decide he couldn't handle the truth? And if she could hide something this important, what else has she been keeping to herself? Recent episodes become even more fascinating when viewed through this new timeline. Naomi openly criticized Chelsea for keeping secrets, presenting herself as someone who values honesty above everything else. Looking back now, that scene carries an entirely different emotional weight. One possible interpretation is that Naomi wasn't simply reacting to Chelsea's actions. She may have been struggling with the guilt of her own hidden truth. While the series has not confirmed this psychological reading, it creates an ironic contrast that is difficult to ignore. The person condemning secrecy may have been carrying the biggest secret of all. Another detail now feels impossible to overlook. In the same stretch of episodes, Donnie and Anita spend time discussing breast cancer awareness and the importance of screening. At first, those conversations seemed like ordinary family dialogue. Now they almost feel like carefully placed warning signs leading directly toward Naomi's confession. Instead of random medical conversations, they may have been quietly preparing viewers for the revelation that someone inside the Dupree family had been living with this burden for months. The official spoiler adds another layer of tension by revealing that Naomi's admission leaves both Jacob and Donnie reeling. That wording matters. It doesn't describe simple surprise or temporary sadness. It suggests that the confession lands with tremendous emotional force. If Naomi had shared the diagnosis back in January, the family could have faced it together. Instead, everyone is forced to process not only frightening medical news but also months of silence that completely reshape how they view Naomi's choices. Perhaps the biggest mystery isn't why Naomi kept a diagnosis secret. The real mystery is why she waited so long. Several possibilities immediately come to mind. She may have feared becoming a burden to Jacob. She may have wanted to protect Donnie from worrying about another family health crisis. She may even have been trying to make difficult medical decisions before involving anyone else. None of these possibilities have been confirmed by the show, but they all point toward the same central question. What happened during those missing 6 months that convinced Naomi's silence was the safer option? That missing half year is quickly becoming the most important gap in this storyline. It transforms every previous scene between Naomi and Jacob into something worth revisiting. Every smile, every quiet conversation, every promise about the future now carries an entirely different meaning because Naomi was already living with knowledge Jacob never had. The audience didn't simply miss a confession. They missed 6 months of hidden emotional conflict happening beneath the surface. Ironically, this storyline isn't about genetics anymore. The BRCA mutation may have started the crisis, but trust has become the true battlefield. Medical challenges can bring couples closer together when they face them side by side. Secrets, however, often create distance long before the truth finally comes out. That is why this revelation has the potential to become one of the most devastating relationship stories Beyond the Gates has told so far. The diagnosis threatens Naomi's future, but the silence threatens her marriage. As this storyline moves forward, one question will overshadow everything else. Can Jacob forgive 6 months of deliberate secrecy, or has the damage already been done? If forgiveness comes, their marriage may emerge stronger than ever after confronting the truth together. But if Jacob cannot move past the fact that Naomi chose silence over honesty for half a year, then the BRCA diagnosis won't be what destroys their relationship. The lie and the 6 months it lasted could become the moment that changes everything forever.